Okay, so what was that tool from last time? Someone in the comments said this is a primitive Xerox machine, and I think that's pretty accurate. What it's for is, let's say you've got some molding like this, for example, and it runs down to the floor and you want to put some floor tile in, and you don't know how to cut the floor tile to match that curve. Well, you do this. And then you have this awesome copy of whatever it is. Not only do you have a convex, but a concave, a male and a female version of it. So you can trace either side and get a really good pattern. So that's what that's for. Obviously, you can reset it this way. And if you had, let's say, another edge like this edge, you could do it this way too. And you get a great copy of what's going on there as well. So I think if you're a carpenter, if you do any kind of work inside a house, this is absolutely a must-have. So this 4-inch Shars 100 millimeter maximum 3,500 RPM truck seems to be really nicely made from the way it's finished and designed and everything, and it was only, I think it was $88 including shipping. It seemed real stiff when I got it, and now I notice there's a lot of, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a fair amount of this sort of abrasive crud in here. I mean, as I rub this on my hand, it feels like fine sand. And I don't think it's casting sand. Maybe it's not casting sand. Maybe it's, you know, cast iron stuff. But there's a flot in here too. If you could see down in here, you probably can't. But there isn't just a little of this. There's quite a lot. So I'm going to clean it all out and oil it. I think I'm going to grease it with high pressure grease. Here's some in here. This is just really kind of caked on here. I guess maybe there's nothing wrong with this, except I kind of feel like maybe there is. So here I go. Just gonna clean these. So this is all the grit that came out, and I think this is cast iron filings. And I don't know that it's terrible that all that was in there, because, for example, Tubal Cain, who is one of my favorite YouTubers for machining, he says cast iron, you don't need lubricant when you drill cast iron because there's so much carbon in the filings or in the material itself that it's self-lubricating. So this is something. This grit is something of a lubrication, one might say. But I'm going to clean it all out. Let's see if it really is iron. I think that's what's going on here. Have a magnet. Yeah. That would appear to have iron in it because of its, I know I can't get it off the magnet. So I'm going to continue cleaning everything up, and then I'm going to lubricate it. So, after all that cleaning, disassembly cleaning, lubricating, and reassembly, it feels nice and smooth. It really does. It's quite improved. So, for $88, including shipping, I think it's going to be a very good purchase. So that's it for the Shars 4-inch 100mm lathe chuck. As you can see, I've just mounted this chuck in. Let me zoom back here if I can. I've mounted it in my larger chuck. I just needed to undercut this, and I need to grab something that was, this hole is too small when I'm jamming on the larger chuck. So this will be fast if I need to change and put this chuck into the bigger chuck to work on smaller parts. It's not terribly accurate, but I don't expect supreme accuracy from a 3-jaw chuck. I think when you want something really accurate, you go for a 4-jaw chuck. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube about the 4-jaw chuck. If I wanted to test this thing and find out about runout, but the difference between, say, the body of the chuck and a precision shaft that was held in here, so I could test the runout, I would make a different back for this. I would make a 2 1/4-8 back so that I could put this right in the lathe. I would run a dial gauge up to this and the dial gauge up to that and check it. But that's really not what I needed to do right now. I just needed to get close for stock removal. So what do I think about the Shars? I think it's pretty good. I'm glad that I bought it, and after I took it all apart and cleaned it, I think it's a good buy. Here is the tool for next time. I know what you're gonna say. Doug, that's a brush. Yes, it is a brush. But it's also, I believe, a very specific type of brush used for a specific thing. And this one, as you can see, is kind of worn out. These little things are broken off after many years of use. What is it? Thanks for hanging out with me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.